you can achieve a high-end look at the Dollar Tree. Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you what I designed as a wreath for my summertime theme, which is take me out to the ball game. So come craft with me. I purchased this bat and ball in the summer toy section of the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to add some detail to it. So I took some crimson Waverly chalk paint and a very fine brush, and I just started painting the lacings that were outlined on the little plastic ball. So I'm going to be honest, my intentions were to only paint the top half of the ball. Once I got started painting, I couldn't figure out where I was going to use the top half, and so I just kept going. I couldn't find a stopping point. I just kept painting my little lines until I had all of the laces filled in. Sometimes when I start a project, I know in my mind where I kind of want to go, but I'm not really quite sure until I actually get there. To be on the safe side, I just went ahead and filled in all of the laces. I took some Waverly antique wax and a baby wipe, and I just kind of brushed over the ball and made it look a little bit dirty, like it had actually been well loved and well used. I took Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut and started painting this orange bat into a more realistic bat color. It's a really cute bat. It just wasn't the vision that I wanted, and so I wanted it to look a little bit more like a wooden bat, kind of vintage, and I decided to go ahead and cover up all of the orange with my hazelnut colored paint. Even though it is a toy, I got it in the toy section. I also didn't want it to look like a toy. I wanted it to look like an actual decor piece. So I just kind of worked around the entire bat, and I just painted it with a sponge brush. The chalk paint covered it very well. It covered up the orange very well, and it complemented it actually quite well too. I was very surprised with the rich color of the orange that came through the paint, and so I only put one coat of paint on the bat. I laid that aside, and back in the spring I had bought this turf runner at the Dollar Tree in the plus section. I bought one to display, and then I bought one to craft with. I had already used a small section of it, and I decided that it looked like a baseball field, and so I wanted to put this on the 18-inch wreath form that I had picked up at the Dollar Tree. I'm only going to put it along about a half maybe of the wreath form, and so in order to get it to lay smooth, I put a lot of hot glue on this, and then I cut little sections so that it would actually grip to each other instead of the wreath form, and I held that down really tight for a long time so that it would actually glue together quite well. And then once I had the little slits cut in there, I just kind of wrapped that around the form. I'm not going to story to y'all at all. This was very time consuming. It took a lot of hot glue to get this artificial turf to grip to the back end. There's some slick covering to it that it just wanted to go, yep, no, I know what you want me to do, and I am just not going to do it. But I eventually, with a lot of hot glue, a lot of time and perseverance got it to adhere. But it was a struggle. Nope, it was a struggle. And I thought, yeah, this isn't going to work, but I am stubborn and I decided it was going to work. I wanted a little bit more of a covering of the little turf, so I just decided to cut a strip and wrap it around. And so I did that on the top and the bottom, and for some odd reason those actually stuck a lot better than the one piece that I was trying to wrap. So if you're doing this, it might actually be better to cut them into strips and do it the way that I did it, to cover the ends, than to do one big long piece. I am trying to save y'all a little bit of the headache that I went through because it was a little difficult. And then it turned out to be not quite so difficult covering the little end pieces. So, you know, you live and you learn and you figure things out sometimes the hard way. Once I got all of the artificial turf glued on, and I probably glued half of the wreath form with the artificial turf, I went back and I just kind of touched up the paint on the bat where it had kind of laid on my silicone mat, and then I pulled up the little pieces of rubber on the handle on the top and the bottom, and I went ahead and carefully painted underneath that. Now I am going to do my bows first. I decided that I wanted 2 big old bows on this wreath, and I wanted to know exactly how many rolls of Deco mesh to use, and I thought that I would have a better idea on what to get out and use if I did my bows first. And so, very easy bow. I'm going to use 4 different patterns of ribbon. I got mine at DollarTree and Temu, and some left over from Valentine's Day, whatever ribbon that you would like to use. I do my bows very easy. I just lay them end over end where the printed side is out, and then I chip clip them together. I dovetail my ends, and I kind of eyeball measure how big I want my loops to be. Now, the baseball ribbon that I'm using right here, it is not wired, but you do not have to use a wired ribbon all the time. If you pinch the center together, then you can actually make a non-wired ribbon into a big old fluffy bow. So I'm going to use a little twist trick with the non-wired ribbon, and I'm going to kind of, when I bring the printed side around, I'm going to twist it so that it will maintain its pattern and it will maintain its fullness, and then it will stay and look just like it were a wired ribbon. And I'm going to add all of my pieces together. I stack them in kind of a diagonal, and I cross them in a diagonal pattern, one pattern alternating at another, and then I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm going to run that through the middle, and I'm going to very tightly bind these different pieces of ribbon together. I made a bigger bow for one end that I'm going to put on my artificial turf, and I fluffed all that out, cut the ends of my zip ties, and just pulled all my loops out. And I'm going to use one bigger bow on the end of my artificial turf, and then I am going to make another bow that's just slightly smaller and I'm going to put that on the other end of the artificial turf. I figured that the bows would kind of cover up a little bit of my work, and I did not want any of my work showing, and so I figured that that was going to kind of hide any of my mess. I fluffed my bows out, and then I was ready to start with my Deco mesh. I'm going to use 4 colors, red, white, and blue, and kind of the lighter blue that they had at Easter time, and I'm going to cut 7-inch sections. I'm going to use 20 strips of each color, and I'm just going to roll them loosely together and bind them in the center with a chenille stem. Twist it really, really tight, and then I'm going to add that to the center bar of the wreath. I'm going to add in my bat, and I chose a crossbar, and I'm going to put a zip tie around my bat, and I'm going to zip tie that to one of the crossbars of the wreath. I'm going to clip that off really, really tight, and then I'm going to fluff my Deco mesh pieces around that. I'm not going to put a zip tie on the bottom. I'm just going to zip tie it up on the top, and then in order to hide my work in the zip tie, I'm going to add another piece of the Deco mesh bundle to the side so that it's really tight around there and none of my work shows through. I'm going to add some E6000 to my little plastic baseball, and I'm going to rub it down into the artificial turf so that I get glue really good down into the little plastic grasses. I'm going to put some hot glue on the ball so that I have a right now hold, and then I have a more permanent hold for later. I thought this turned out beautiful for summer. It is on theme, total high-end, on a budget, and it is gorgeous. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 starts you're out at the old ball game. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video. Give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.